Warning, the following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Right, exactly. So let's talk about some of these names.
Okay.
Even though this is going into the cult side, I want everybody in this episode, because I want to make sure everybody out there listening, I want you guys to unpack who this guy is. Then I want you to go back after this episode is completed on Friday and listen to the entire recruitment episode of the video recruitment tape he had out for Heaven's Gate before we get into the cult side of this. But I want to put you into perspective, because these are the names they came up with. Names chosen for Heaven's Gate members had 6 letters, 3 plus ODY, all of which were capitalized. Examples include, and these aren't even names, Jake. Millody, but no I. M-L-L-O-D-Y. And then Surrody, S-R-R-O-D-Y. Tillody, T-L-L-O-D-Y. Rothody, R-T-H-O-D-Y. Chakody, or I think Chakody, C-H-K-O-D-Y. And Alexody, A-L-X-O-D-Y. T and Doe said that the next level was adopting us into their family, explained Sawyer, a longtime cult member known as S-Swody, S-W-Y-O-D-Y, pronounced Soy-O-D. Soyodi, right? So it's so it's really interesting when they got these names. Like, here, dude, here's your new name. Well, how the fuck do I say it? I don't know. You'll figure it out. So the family name was Odie. That was basically, Odie was the name of the family, kind of like their given name, like their last name, I guess, with just weird shit thrown over top of it. Very, very interesting.
And as stupid as it sounds, this is like the first foot in the doorway of like, this is you getting your first medal. And even though you may be like tiptoeing around all of this, like at first, you have some semblance of a belonging here, and then you're brought further in by being given a new name. So you feel that pull into this quote unquote family even further, and it becomes even more dangerous at this point.
Right. And Jake, dude, I mean, you couldn't have hit the nail on the head better, because this name system was that system. So Applewhite and Nettles said that the Odie names identified their followers as children of the next level. So what this meant was, when they became adults in their eyes, they would drop the Y. So the family name would just be Odd. Like, no longer Odie, but Odd, which they extremely were, which was like a little next level humor, because they were all kind of odd. They even admit this in the article. I mean, this is fucking great.
Of course, you have to remember, like, this is back in a time where like this is a completely new thing. Like, we all know a lot of these stories like this, but this is like a totally new thing for these people. So it's very extremely odd. So there's a process to reeling people in, and that's what's happening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, okay. Now, we talked about how, Nettles was kind of the original leader of this cult, which I really don't think, and we'll have to get into Nettles a little bit at some point. But I really don't think Nettles had the initiative to make people go out and off themselves. I just think she had something good going for her, and she wanted Marshall to be a part of it. And
her problem was she was also rooted in religion, and she pulled him in with her knowledge of the Bible, and they took their combined knowledge and took teachings from the Bible and twisted it and made their own thing. There's kind of a parallel there. You can see through like
With Koresh.
with the disciples even. How Jesus gives these people a new name. This is essentially what they're copying from the Bible, but doing it with their own twist.
Now, so just so everybody knows, and I want to clarify on something, in no way, shape, or form are we getting down on religion. All right.
Heck no, man.
These people are extremists, right? I mean, that's what this is. So initially, Applewhite and Nettles preached that followers would undergo a biological transformation and become perfect alien beings. So let me restart this. So Applewhite, in Crisis, decided to reformulate the cult's philosophy after Nettles died in '85. That's the lead into this. So initially, Applewhite and Nettles preached that the followers would undergo a biological transformation and become perfect alien beings, right? When the time was right, Applewhite and Nettles said everyone in the group would physically travel on a UFO to outer space, to an outer space version of heaven. Okay. Now, for those of you that don't know, and I don't really want to get into this too hard because I want to save this for next week when we really get into the cult side of this. I want to save all that. But anyway, so the two said that they've already reached a state of alien perfection. All right. And we're now existing in human vehicles. So that's how they portrayed themselves as people. We are aliens in these vessels, just kind of, bebopping around Earth, waiting, on our trip back home. That's kind of how they perceive themselves. So reality intruded, however, when Nettles became ill with cancer. Her death was in 1985, which did not resemble a glorious alien rebirth. It was, in fact, in direct conflict with their teachings. Well, no shit. I think that's pretty safe to say if you're telling somebody you're an alien, and if you're telling somebody you're just in this human skin, and then you undergo this, and you're not making it to this space nirvana. This is how do you explain this to your followers, right? I don't see how that would work.
I mean, it's a totally new thing, but fortunately, but unfortunately, Marshall had a gift for public speaking, and so that brings its own sort of allure to it. When you can connect to people emotionally on that level, you can speak to them with something that resonates with them inside of them, and you make it so you hit that part in the person where they seem to have a hole. And a lot of people seem to resonate with, have you always felt like you're just a little bit out of place? You always walked around the world and felt like you were kind of a little different and a little askew from the normal perceptions of humans? Well, look at us. Here's what we do. We embrace the weirdness. Over here, we're the weird people. If you want to feel more like yourself, come be with the weird people, and we will help you be more like your weird self. And some people were like, yeah, no thanks. But then some people kind of said, that's me. I'm a weird one. Where do I sign? And he started to attract a following because he could definitely put it into words.
Yeah, so there is, but I mean, again, just like Koresh, like, God, it's so the similarities. I mean, I wonder if the FBI has started like a profile on these leaders, and I wonder if I'm on that list. Anyway, to continue into this, Applewhite is the sole leader of the cult at this point, asked members to marry him in a group ceremony. So put yourself in Applewhite's shoes. Did he want people to marry him because he was worried about people leaving? Was he insecure and didn't feel as a good enough leader as Nettle was? What happened at this point where this came to be?
This was that final. This was after you've already thrown the bait out, set the hook, and reeled it in. This is when you reach in and you grab the catch. This is the final. That's that. And doing that, you felt like you had you had an obligation to be tied to him after this. That there was, once you did that, you sealed the deal. There was no going back.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com. Right. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. So Applewhite had always deferred to Nettles and called her the old member. She leaned to metaphysical philosophies, and Applewhite followed her lead. But in her absence, Applewhite's ideas in religion and spirituality came to the fore, and the cult became more biblical in its outlook. So, of course, just like Koresh did, he utilized biblical teachings, I guess, and utilized the Bible to kind of push his agenda. All right. No more than a decade after her death, he publicly declared himself the Messiah. He declares himself as Jesus returned to Earth, and declares it that T was one of gods of known as one of the gods of the Father. So this is what he did. After all this craziness happened, he then started referring to himself as the Messiah. And again, how Jake mentioned earlier in the episode, if you look into this guy's eyes, it's like there's something in there and it's not right. This guy, I believe, was evil to the core and was manipulating the shit out of people.
Oh, it's absolutely a manipulation. It's preying on some people who are broken and don't realize that they are, and hitting them in that spot where they feel empty. It's definitely a manipulation tactic, and he took full advantage of it, and he knew how to do it, and unfortunately, he was very good at it.
So now let me explain to you guys something. Applewhite made recruitment videos, he made training videos, and he almost wanted like this weirdo perfection. So for those of you guys that don't know, Applewhite and several other cult members decided to get themselves castrated. Okay. And I hate to laugh about this because it's so horrible. However, Applewhite's kind of argument with this was, well, we're going to a genderless world. So what the hell do you need genitals for here? Right. And at some point I thought that maybe, and I still think that this is some of this. I still think Applewhite was very sexually frustrated. Like there was something really wrong in that department, I think, for him. And I think he felt that castration may have been the only option. I think if he thought, if I'm going to do it, I want everybody else to do it with me. Because if I'm not getting it, nobody's getting it.
I mean, but was he wrong though? I mean,
what do you mean?
I mean, like a genderless society? I mean, was he wrong technically?
I don't know. I've never been to this alien world he speaks of.
I mean, I'm living it, bro. I'm looking around wondering what's going on.
Oh, like today, genderless? Yeah.
Like,
well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. See, I'm not going to agree with this guy, but damn,
it is a little interesting there.
It is.
Anyway, so to get into this, so it is widely rumored and widely speculated that he was struggling with homosexuality. So this might have had some parts of that too.
What?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No.
I mean, I don't think they wore purple sashes for no reason, Jake.
Purple's the color of royalty.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. So now, interestingly enough, when this cult decided to commit suicide, Marshall didn't put himself last at the list. He was fully committed to his craziness, right? He was not the last to die out of all the members. You would think that, but that wasn't the case. So that's just some more insight into what Applewhite had going on leading up to the events of this mass casualty. So, I mean, this is typically the point where we get to calling people or letting people call in for questions and things like that. Unless there's anything else you guys care to specifically know through the chats, let me know. But this is a brief rundown on who Applewhite was and what he had going on until he ended up in the full-blown cult and the mass suicide and the reasons behind it and things like that, which we will cover on next Monday's episode. Jake, any thoughts on anything before we start taking call-ins on this?
I want to know where the sign-up sheet is to castrate myself.
Oh.
Is there a Google Doc for this, or
I don't know. You know what? I'll look into that. So Mags is asking where to sign up for the Patreon. It's very simple. If you guys are on Podbean, go to the homepage for its Doomsday podcast on here, and there's going to be a little red icon. You can click that, and you can sign up for the Patreon, guys, and you'll start getting these episodes as soon as me and Jake are done with these. These will get posted on the Patreon program. They will be there, and they'll also be there ad free, and they go up as soon as we're done. Same with the episodes I do with Al. They go right up. They'll be there. We've only got a few up right now because we just started this. But yeah, if you guys really want to get to this guy and really want more on this, there are a ton of podcasters out there who have covered Heaven's Gate that have done a way better job than I have that can actually fucking read. All right. So if you want to get some more information on this before we get into next week's episode, feel free to hit up some other podcast. I think the last podcast on the left did a good job on this, and I know there's a handful of others. Just type it in a search engine, and it'll all pop up. But just remember, when you're looking at this guy, think Koresh, because the similarities are very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we are going to, yeah, and I saw Patreon, not Patreon. Yes, thank you, Eric. Heaven's Gate cult conceded with the Haley Bob comment. Yes, we will get into that on next week's show, Eric, why they did what they did, why they selected the time to do it, what the reasoning was behind it, a little bit about the victims and things like this. And guys, I'm just going to tell you, if you want more of this before next week, there's a ton of sources of information for this online. You can get witness statements and you can get so Marshall Applewhite had these leaders of the cult do exit videos, and they're all available on YouTube. So you can go in and listen to these people talk, and it is freaking creepy. Jake, have you ever seen the exit tapes?
I haven't seen the exit tapes, but I saw one of the initial recruitment videos, and that's why I bring up the thing about the eyes, because I always remember that video, and it's just the man needs to learn how to blink a little bit more. You know, he gets a little intense with those eyeballs, and it kind of throws you off. It throws you off your game.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. That is one thing that does stand out in a lot of his stuff, especially when he gets preachy. It's really interesting. And I don't know, I mean, hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com. Clearly the guy was mentally unstable, all right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was highly mentally unstable, but he was that scary mentally unstable. He was that mentally unstable that could manipulate people into doing some of the craziest shit. And I mean, marry him, get castrated for him, drink the Kool-Aid, the whole 9 yards. This guy had it on lock, and Raccoon says he was a psycho. I mean, yes, he was. He had a great, great power of manipulation over people. That's for damn sure. But again, like so many other cult leaders, he put on the weak.
And this is going to be a common theme as we progress with other stories as well. You're going to see a lot of this enigmatic characters who tend to prey on people who feel lost in their lives and in their identities. And many people will resonate with that, because if you felt lost all of your life, you finally pick the one place where you're found, you lean into it 100%.
Right. And Gray Area, what's up, dude? Welcome in. He said don't assume his gender. I guess you can't, since he cut his nuts off. And yeah, so Raccoon, I do want to get into the Jim Jones thing too. This Marshall Applewhite thing. Welcome in, dude, Sean. This Marshall Applewhite thing, though, I really wanted to cover this Heaven's Gate cult, because I'm seeing so many similarities. We covered Waco a while ago, and the similarities with this are really interesting. And we started talking about this in one live one night, and no one really knew what this was. And I really wanted to shed light on this. I really wanted to paint a picture of who this guy was for everybody before we really get into the cult side of this. Because when you start hearing the extremes that they went to and the things that they did, it's kind of like, well, who could have done this? And now you know. Now you know the story of Marshall Applewhite.
The foundational understanding is important, because you have to understand where the draw on the pull comes from, and it like I said, I keep repeating it, but it's going to be a repeated theme through a lot of these, which is those lost and broken souls who feel like they don't have a place finally found a place, and you take it steps further, and instead of just giving them a place, you make it seem like it's a family, because a lot of these people never had an actual family before, and now they have an opportunity to feel like they're welcomed into just a large collection of people like themselves, but they all just love and care about each other, and they all just seem to have this one secular idea around it. So they feel very welcome, and the door's very open for them until it closes and it's too late and they're already in. And we're seeing that pull in. We're seeing the bait cast out, and these people totally buy it. And the ones who don't, they just say, fine, whatever. It's not for you. And it's totally amicable and it's fine. But some of the people just eat this up because they're just broken inside, and they don't have anything else.
No, and I understand that. And I mean, we saw the same thing with Waco. He took people that were seeking a following, that were a little bit outcast. He utilized religion to do so. He isolated his followers from the outside world, just like this guy did, right? And he created a new world for them. He put them in his world. And I mean, Koresh was very... I mean, you could see a lot of what he did was like an ego trip. Like, because Koresh was this guy, I'm the only one that's allowed to have relations within the group, right? You're not allowed to sleep with your wife, but I am. That's the kind of stuff Koresh did, okay?
Want to be a guest on the show? Email itsdoomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. That's itsdoomsdaypodcast@gmail.com.
Applewhite was just like, no, nobody's getting any. Nobody's getting any. Not only am I not getting any, but you guys aren't getting any, and you're getting chopped, for that reason. Just wild and crazy.
It's their own twist on the same thing. I mean, Applewhite taught that everything was just a walk-in. You come and go as you please, but really you didn't. Once you were there, you were stuck because you were too far in. But this was all of this surrounding the New Age stuff during the 70s, So it was right in that time where people were more open to it and coming around to it. So he took full advantage of that, and he does explain that what exactly walk-ins were, and he said that they were like higher beings who took control of adult bodies to teach humanity. So he puts a weird twist onto everything. But the more you delve into it, it's like, well, I mean, for somebody, if they felt really lost and had no other place, like, this kind of makes sense, and it's terrible.
So yeah, no, you're 100% right. Welcome Blake, welcome Crucible. So Jake, I did want to point something else out too. You guys got to understand, at this time, there was no internet, there was no cell phones, there was no way for these people to have immediate communication with the outside world. So when they were in with this guy, it's not like, I mean, if you wanted to make a call, you had to go to the landline to do it. You had to go to a payphone to do it. You couldn't just send a text to your parents or your kids and check in and say, hey, how are you doing? Hence, one of the reasons why, they I don't want to say it's the only reason why they left the exit tapes, but I'm sure it had something to do with it. And we'll get into that a little bit next week. But I'm thinking like between this and Koresh, you think that played a big tool within their power is the fact that nobody had communication with the outside world?
Yeah, that's also a popular thing, man. Like I said, you remove the identity, you give them a new identity, and then you remove all communication with the outside world. So you create this echo chamber. So you're just a bunch of people living within a bunch of people's same thoughts all in one place, and you can't go and reach out to somebody who's out there in reality to snap you back and be like, hey, you're making a mistake. This is wrong. This is totally messed up. You need to leave now. And that's the last thing that you want to happen when you're creating something like this. So you, like I said, you remove the old person, you give them a new identity, and you give them a place that's isolated from everyone else so you don't have any more outside influence, and you fully immerse them in this world. And it's like this immersion of this world becomes who you are after enough time. And it's just like with anything else, we get an injury, like, let's say you tripped outside and like cut your elbow and it hurts and it's new and it's fresh. But after like a day, you're used to it. This is kind of the similar thing, is that you get into this new thing, and it's brand new and it's a little uncomfortable. But after a while, the mind has a very, very innate ability to be adaptable. So as soon as you take every other outside experience away, your mind is more quick to adapt to this and be set in this. And once you're there, you're stuck.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. And I mean, guys, this isn't something that happens in 5 minutes. This is something that takes time. You got to work on people. You got to break them down. And these type of guys are very, very good at doing that. Applewhite was extremely good at doing this. It's scary to think that people like this exist. I mean, in my opinion, this is somebody that's more dangerous than Manson, right? I know not a lot of people would agree with that logic, but I'm going to tell you what, Applewhite had a higher victim count. Anyway, I just realized I welcomed everybody in here but my wife. Welcome, Mischief. And welcome, Kelvin, in as well. No, but I mean, that's the thing. This isn't, I don't think his goal for a second was, let's get everybody together and let's do this. Let's wear on people over time. Big thing. Do you think, because I kind of think he did believe everything that he was preaching. Do you think he believed everything?
I think once he kind of got that encouragement from other people when they were like, yeah, me too. I'm totally different too. I think that was general encouragement that kind of sealed the deal for him. And once he was like, I think I got something. I think I'm onto something here. I should delve further into it. Once you get so far into it, you're just stuck. And it's, some people never come out of that. And I think he understood. I think he understood those principles of the isolation and removing all the external stimuli, and as things progress, we'll go forward with things later on, and you'll find out that there is a similar trajectory here of isolation, where you isolate from the family and you create the individual. You give them an identity. You take away their money. You give them a task. You make them feel almost sort of like a communistic society where everybody shares everything and they're in their little commune. You're going to find out that these are common themes. It's just the approach that is different, but it reaches the same goal, which is to isolate and recreate somebody and make them a new person, so to speak.
Hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com. No, and I mean, it's really scary when you kind of when you put it that way. It's a lot scarier. I mean, there's nothing that's not scary about this. Like, let's be honest. I mean, at the peak of this group, they had like 200 members.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so you got to think. I mean, so guys, think about this. It's hard to build to give you the sense of the kind of power that this guy had of manipulation. Imagine trying to build a following of 200 people online, right? With the technology we have today, making videos with editing, everything else. This guy was doing it just traveling around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that was the way to do it. I mean, he was putting that work in.
Yeah.
But also that says a lot about how many lost souls there are out there too,
Right. Good evening, Bethy. Welcome in. So I mean, guys, that's about all I got on this. Unless somebody has anything that they want to call in with about Marshall Applewhite, or Jake, unless you got something. I mean, I think we can wrap this one a little early tonight.
That's fine. I do have a question for you, Jester.
Yeah, man. What's up?
Did you ever feel alone at any time in your life?
Yes, I have.
Did?
Yes.
Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Did you ever kind of feel like you were the odd one out?
All the time.
Oh man, yeah, me too. And, so listen, man, I got this piece of land over here. You want to come check it out? Like, it's free. Like, it's you just walk in, dude. Like, you don't even have to tell me you're coming. You just show up. You want to check it out?
Really? Yeah, dude. I'd love to.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, do you have any money or anything? Because we could use, if you're going to hang out, like, you're more than welcome to, but like, you can stay if you want to. But if you do, like, we're going to need to like develop things, like we need like water source and some food and all that,
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, I have no friends. I have no family. I don't have a girlfriend. Of course I got money in the bank.
Dude, I will not only just be your friend. I will be your family.
I need family.
How does that feel? Would you like me to be your family?
Yes.
I will be your daddy.
Okay.
You want to get married?
Maybe someday.
Okay, well, if you're going to stick around, I'm going to give you a new name, and I'm going to call you Lester. And when you're around, you get to hang out with everybody. I'm going to change your name. You're going to be Lester, and everybody's going to just love everybody and get married and share everything. And you're never going to have to hurt ever again. The coolest part about it, dude, is you get to be an alien because of it.
Wait, I get to be an alien?
You get to be an alien. As a matter of fact, you're an alien right now, Jester.
Holy crap. No way.
You are an alien right now. You're just an alien perusing around inside a human meat popsicle, just waiting to get unzipped and jump out. And the only thing that you have to do is just die for it. If you want to become your alien person and ascend to that higher level, that's all you got to do.
Well, I mean, we all die anyway at some point, right? So why not?
Yeah, dude. Sounds enticing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, step 3. You want to cut off your dick?
No.
Damn it. Thought I heard it.
Well, are you going to cut yours off?
I already did.
Well, all right, fine. Let's go.
It felt great, too.
So we do have a caller that called in. Raccoon, what's up, man?
We got another one.
I'm doing pretty good, considering it's snowing like crazy out here.
Gotcha.
So where you guys get it next?
It's not snowing where
Hopefully,
I am.
hopefully not.
Yeah. Something I wanted to point out, though, is every religious, I say that hesitantly, because they always put up some form of a higher being that we're going to meet or something. Every one of the religious cults that are all around the world, there's hundreds or thousands of them. They're all over the place. Some of them never get to be the limelight because it's not in the agenda for the news to flash out a third world country having a cult. But they showed the ones here in the United States or ones who dealt with American citizens. But there's others around the world that have gone off and killed thousands of people because they they called for it. They were brainwashed so badly that they did it without hesitation. And these people that you're talking about down in them bunkers there in the desert, yeah, that's what they did. And what ones didn't do it were suffocated. Now, I commented about Jim Jones. Yeah, the kids got the Kool-Aid first. The parents, they give up and went. But some of the people tried to escape. They were shot in the back by the security guards that kept the commune closed down so they couldn't leave, because they basically were nothing more than slaves to Jim Jones and his little merchandising scheme he played on. And that's what a lot of these cults do. They're not in it for the religious reasons. They're in it for power, money, and control. That's all it's about. That's all.
Well, you gotta
about.
think though, Raccoon. The Applewhite kept these people there with no security forces.
I know, but he had them out in the middle of the freaking desert. Where are they going to go?
Pure manipulation, man.
Yeah, as a cult leader, you make more money.
Brainwashing, not manipulation, but brainwashing.
What'd you say, Jake?
I said, as a cult leader, you make more money, but as a follower, you have more fun.
Oh yeah, you have a lot of time that's not yours, because they require you, like guy down Texas. Those people, they slaved away inside there, but they were happy because they were brainwashed to be happy doing what they were doing. Just like with every other cult that ever had some kind of a hierarchy to it. But that guy had him out in the desert, and where are you going to go when you don't have any water? You ain't getting far. Not in the desert.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com.
He wasn't worried about losing them, and the animals will take care of the ones that strayed away. But he was in it basically just to kill the people. He was a psychotic individual.
Which one are you talking about now? Are you talking about Applewhite or are you talking about Jim Jones? Okay.
I'm talking about White. Jim Jones, he had him corralled down in the jungle. Okay. Because White had him corralled in the desert. They weren't going anywhere because
So, but Applewhite was grabbing these people from all over.
Well, yeah, he was, but he was bringing them to the desert.
Right. Well, Koresh did the same thing. He brought him to the middle of nowhere, Texas.
Yeah.
So I guess it's very safe to say. I mean, I know we touched on it a bunch of times on tonight's show, but guys, isolation is key. I mean, if you haven't caught your prep stock tickets yet, make sure you do.
Well, the government tried to get us to
What's up, Andy?
Lockdowns. Okay.
Right. No. Yeah.
They're all chasing their spiritual buyer. They're doing hideous things to people. They're causing them to have death, but it was like, comply so I don't have to take the blame for it. And that's what these guys did. Comply. Drink the Kool-Aid. Okay. All of them did that except for Koresh out there in Texas. Is just that the FBI and everybody just stormed the damn place and tried to burn it down and kill everybody. I mean, well, there's a lot of things to look at with Koresh, but these other two guys, they were just hideously trying to kill people, and they did. Jones had a couple survivors that literally played dead, and nobody checked them. Too many bodies to check.
One thing so this was for Applewhite though, guys. This was like part of a legacy for him. Yeah, he wanted people to know what they did. It wasn't this. I mean, not only. So there was like video of these final people's moments. They made sure someone was alive so they could share this with the world. This was like a legacy thing for him. Welcome in Dina and welcome back Shelby. This was like
also in his manifesto what he was going to do to him. Take him to the promised land one way or the other.
So, Raccoon, I appreciate you calling in. I'm going to go ahead and drop you out because we're
All right.
going to wrap this up a little bit
All right,
sooner
thanks
than
for having me
usual,
on.
I think, tonight. Yeah, thank you, Raccoon. Have a good one, boss. All right, Jake, you still with me?
What?
Huh? So, guys, we are going to wrap up a little bit early tonight. We're going to wrap up about 10 minutes early, just because I want to keep this on point. And I'm kind of out of things to talk about in regards to Applewhite. I'm out of reading material here, and I'm not going to go as far as into this guy as what kind of pull-ups this guy wore as a child. But, I mean, you guys get the gist of who this guy was. You guys get the gist of the power of manipulation, how he was able to do what he did. And like I said, next week, we're going to get into the actual cult, what was going on. We're going to get deeper into that. And in the interim, we're going to have the entire recruitment video is going to be posted up on its Doomsday podcast platform. Applewhite can't sue me because guess what? He is DED dead. And you guys will be able to listen to that whole thing in its entirety. And I suggest giving it a listen before next Monday's show, because this is going to give you a great sense of what these people were hearing that decided to go in and drink the Kool-Aid and commit suicide, right? You're going to get a great sense of that listening to this. This was the actual audio. This is the actual audio from the videos he utilized to suck these people in.
And
so I definitely suggest,
imagine being so convincing that you could get someone to cut their private parts off.
I could never be that convincing.
That's charisma. That's correct. Blah, blah, blah. That's charisma, my friend.
I guess. I will never ask any of you guys to do that. Yeah, but with about a minute left here, Jake, you got anything? If not, we are gonna be out of here.
I finished a short film, Jester.
Oh yeah, you know what? I was going to ask you about that. Tell me more. How? Because I saw I saw pictures on your Instagram from it. I know that they snuck you off in the middle of the night. Tell me more.
Yeah, dude. I filmed a short film. It'll be out. So they want to get it out in like 8 weeks. It's called Last Dance. I played the character called Ballet Master Florence, who was a very stern individual who has a permanent injury and walks with a cane. And he's very, very, very hard on his students because he wants them to be the best.
So where is this show going to air? Where could we watch it? When does it come out?
I don't know yet, but they'll let me know. And when I know, everyone will know because I'll put the link out. But they are going to submit it to as many festivals as they can. I did this for a local town close by to me, and I was happy to do it. And this is a senior director's project, final project.
Very cool. Yeah, man. It's it was when I found out you got the part, I was pretty excited. Then when you were texting me, telling me you were on your way there, I was excited. And then when I saw the pictures on Instagram, I got more excited. And I'm so glad you brought it up because I was going to ask you about it, and it totally slipped my mind because I was so excited.
It was honestly pretty cool because I didn't have to change much. I didn't have to dance. I just had to be my usual stern self.
You looked good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. You guys check out Jake's Instagram if you want some pictures of that.
I look pretty good in a suit.
Yeah, man. Don't worry, I'm not going to try to steal you from the dirt lady.
Too late. You already have.
Oh.
Also, Ma's House is going to come out soon. I don't have a date yet, but I'll let you guys know. They're finishing. They're doing the final touch on Tubi, and when they're done on their side, it's out.
Oh, it's going to be on Tubi?
It'll be on Tubi, and from what I understand, there's eventually going to be like a Tubi Plus. The subscription model everybody's going to.
Huh. Very cool. Yeah, because you know what? I just downloaded Tubi the other day. I don't know much about it yet. I definitely gotta dive a little deeper into it. But yeah, dude, I've been kind of waiting for you to mention, when that show's coming out.
I've been keeping quiet. It was supposed to be out in October, but apparently Tubi started like really, really like leaning into their thing, and they're making a lot of changes, so everything is delayed. Not just our show, but everybody's show. But it's, from what I understood the last time I spoke to anybody, it's going through the finishing touches, and we're at the finish line.
Very, very cool, man. Very cool. All right, guys. So that's it. That's It's Doomsday Podcast Monday Night Live. We're about to be out of here. Everybody that came into the show tonight, guys, I greatly appreciate you. Tell your friends, share it out, all that good stuff. This will be uploaded immediately for the patrons to go back and listen in its entirety, not in two parts. Also ad-free. If anybody out there wants to get the ad-free episodes, definitely join the Patreon program on the Podbean website, app, whatever you're utilizing. And Jake, that's it, man. Once again, dude, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure, dude. My pleasure. I'm always happy to be here. I love the show.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. It's and it's getting better and better, except we're not reading any New York Times articles again.
Clear. I am now excited for Mondays more than I've ever been.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm happy you're happy here.
I'm happy here. I think I'm going to stay here for a little while. Can I be part of the family?
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Just wear purple and cut your balls off.
I love purple, and I do like my balls. I think can I keep them for now?
Yes. I need to confiscate them from time to time, but yes, you can keep them.
Is there a ball cutting off deadline?
No, but there is a ceremony.
Ooh, okay. Go on.
I don't know. That's it.
Okay.
Oh God. And for those of you guys that don't know, these topics like very much so disturb me, and that's why I'm so off tonight. That's half the reason. Not a fun thing to talk about, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again next week, guys. We're gonna be back. For everybody that came in, once again, love y'all. Jake, we're out of here. Have a great night, everybody. Finish off your Monday strong.
See you, everybody.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORAD is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.